Bears now threatening on the one, inside the one. Crossley up the middle, dives forward. He's in! Touchdown Central Arkansas, the first of the season, and they go in front over Tulsa with 3:54 to play here in the first quarter.
All right, welcome in. Week number 2 of the Nathan Brown Show here at Pizza Ranch in Conway, and Bears go on the road and lead in the fourth quarter, but unfortunately ultimately come up short at Tulsa, 38-27 the final. And, Coach, this was a game I felt like going in. I know you felt like going in that you guys had a chance to win, and afterwards this is a place that is way past moral victories. I know you were disappointed. This was a game that not only did you have a chance to win, but, I think you felt like afterwards you probably should have won the game.
Yeah, the last message I said to the guys when we left the field at Tulsa, and then obviously reiterated last night at our team meeting on Sunday night was there's no moral victories in this. At UCA we play to win football games. We play to win games like that. We schedule games against Tulsa to go play and win. And I thought we played our tails off. Our guys played hard. They left it on the field, but we made just a few key mistakes at some tough times that hurt us. And it's a great learning experience, but it comes at a loss. And we're 0-1, and that's not what we're about at UCA. So we've got some work to do to improve, and I look forward to getting back out there. I wish Saturday was already here, to be honest with you. Well,
there are a lot of positives to take away. Certainly, that may sound like broadcaster speak, but I think anybody who watched the game knows there's a lot of things to be excited about with this team going forward. It was a strange game. We talked about in the post-game interview. There were a lot of strange things that happened. You had a field kickoff that wasn't fielded, and fortunately, guys were able to recover that. Unfortunately, same thing happened to you guys, and was teams kicking against the wind where the ball came up way short. You had one where, after a long pass completion, you're able to bat it out. Guy picks it up, runs with it. It's batted away from him, and then you cover it in the end zone. We had sort of a Leon Lett with an added flair there, but it was just a strange game in that regard. There were a lot of sort of wild plays for an opener.
Well, first game you're going to see strange things from both sides of both sides of the ball, both teams. You're shaking the jitters out. It's been a year since you've been on the field in a game-like situation. You just have to minimize the mistakes. And Tulsa, give them credit. They made more plays than we did in the end. But gosh, we played hard. And some of those turnovers our defense was able to force was just effort plays. To get a defensive touchdown in the early fourth quarter was huge for the momentum of the game. And then we had our times on offense. At times we asserted ourselves in the run game and protected Braylon well the whole night. I thought he was poised and made good decisions the whole night. They just did some stuff schematically on defense that didn't allow us to get the ball down the field, and that was a great job by them, but we'll make the adjustments, and I think we'll be better for it.
Yeah, it was good news, bad news early on. You guys got great field position on the first 3 drives and scored on 3 of those drives. Unfortunately, settled for field goals on 2 of them, though, and I know that was disappointing. But also had the run game going early on, and unfortunately hard to sustain as the game went on. But let's just start with, I guess, the first few possessions. You guys, again, get it right around midfield the first couple times and did some good things moving the ball down the field and get a chance to at least kick field goals.
Yeah, if you think about it, our first couple possessions on offense for the year were on the plus side of the field. And anytime you get that kind of field position off a great kickoff return from Cedric Battle,
yeah.
And then after that, just a good 3 and out by our defense, and we were able to get 6 points out of those drives, which obviously if you could get 10 or 14, that may change the outcome of the game. So it was tough sledding once you got in there tight. They were a big defense. Physically, we probably will not face a defense with that size, from the first level all the way back to the third level.
Yeah, big corners,
big safeties. Their front 3 or 4 guys were 320+ pound guys, big long guys. So we were starting 4 new linemen, and they had to get their nose bloodied a little bit and figured out what this college football thing's about. So we're gonna be a better team this week, and we'll get a red zone plan and we'll get the ball in the end zone. But we getting points out of those is positive things. Don't ever get that twisted. We got it down there. Great job by Matt Cummins kicking the football, getting the ball through the uprights, and then getting points. And then anytime we get points and put the defense in a good spot, and we should be in good shape.
Coach, whether you've got an established quarterback like Aaron Rodgers or you've got a guy who's making his first collegiate snap, or you've got a quarterback controversy, that's always the position people are focused on. Braylon, obviously there was a lot of focus on him, and I know you guys felt very confident in him. It looked like Not that you protected him in the first half, but obviously didn't try to ask him to go out and win the game in the first half. Turned him loose a little bit more in the third quarter. It looked like he was more than up to the task.
I think a lot of that in the early going, a lot had to do with Braylon. Plays were called for him to take advantage of some stuff, and I think he was playing a little conservative early. Just on his own account, just wanted to take what the defense was giving him, wanted to be right, wanted to be perfect. As the game went on, you saw him say, "Okay, you know what? I'm going to be a little more aggressive. I'm going to take my chance right here." And that's something Coach Collums talked about with him on Sunday night was, "Hey, be aggressive, man. We'll hold you in. And so pleased with the way. I mean, usually you're having to teach quarterbacks how to find their outlets and their checkdowns. I mean, I coached quarterbacks for a long time, and it's like it's like beating a dead horse sometimes when you're trying to teach those guys to find their outlets. And Braylon is very mature at doing stuff like that. And so I will never take that out of him. Coach Collins does a great job preparing him to do that and know where his outlets are. And I thought that's how he completed a lot of passes. They were doing defensively a scheme to keep us in front of them. So Braylon did a good job not forcing something stupid down the field and taking the underneath stuff. We just got to make some guys miss and get some first downs.
They got that big touchdown pass early on, and you guys, as you mentioned, great response with Cedric Battle's kick return, and then you go down and put points on the board. Their passing game was really kept under wraps for most of the day. Their running game, unfortunately, got traction as the day wore on. They ended up with 274 on the ground. A couple of guys I want to highlight. Certainly, we've got to mention Juan Jackson, Coach. 16 tackles from him, and had a forced fumble, a pass breakup. He was all over the field, and it seemed like he was in on just about every tackle. I lost count. He ended up at 16. I thought he had 50.
Yeah. Juan's one of those guys, like when he suits up, like you watch Juan at practice, and you might not think he's a really good football player. Like not to take anything away from Juan. He is a true gamer. I mean, he is like a security blanket back there. That's why he's a preseason all-conference player. Just a good tackler, and he's smart, savvy football player. But as a whole on defense, we did a great job the whole night. I know they ended up with 274 yards rushing, and we knew that's what they wanted to do going in. We knew they wanted to run the football. That's what they've done in the past. They're really good at it. They'll continue to be good at it throughout the year. They're a really good run football team. But we did a great job on defense making them take the long haul. I mean, other than that big play on the first drive that we gave up down the sideline, I mean, we didn't give up much like that after that. And to get to that point, they had to convert a 4th and 2 on their own 38-yard line. So we're a fourth down away from stopping them, right there, on a 4-and-out first possession. So I thought the defense handled up really well. Got tired at times. It was the first game. It's hot. We're playing a tempo team, so did a good job getting them in and out, rotating them, but still had some guys play a lot of snaps. We've got to continue to work ourselves into game shape.
Yeah, and again, I don't want to sit here and heap a bunch of praise on Tulsa, but those guys, those two running backs, I don't know if they're as good as anybody you're going to face this year, but they're probably as good as anybody you're going to face this year. The younger back, the sophomore, had a great year and then got hurt the last few games of the year. And then Taylor, who came up big and is, for respite, I guess, he was sort of the backup. He had 111 yards last year against Oklahoma State before he got hurt early in the season. So both those guys can go.
Just big, thick backs. You could hit them low and they kept their feet moving.
Sometimes they jump over you.
Yeah, they would do that because you knew you had to go low on them. I mean, just big physical backs. Good for us to see the first time. Getting some live tackling like that. Made some adjustments. Within our practice scheme to try to move our feet more too to help to get them down on whenever we make contact. So, but a good group of backs for them.
It's Joe Hampton. Braylon Smith will take it himself. He's into the end zone untouched. Braylon Smith, touchdown! Joe Hampton got the defense's eyes moving left, and he ran back to the right side. They were looking at the running back. He didn't hand it. He kept it. And Braylon Smith, his first touchdown as a Bear. Woo!
All right, welcome back. All right, that was Braylon Smith's first running touchdown as a Central Arkansas Bear, and we'll hopefully have a whole bunch more of those and some passing touchdowns as well. And Coach, again, we talked about it. I mean, you can't heap enough praise upon him. I mean, he did a lot of good things, steady Eddie, no interceptions. And we talked about it on the show last week. I mean, you were comfortable with him making some mistakes, and it doesn't matter how long a guy's been playing. You're going to have that occasionally. But really didn't make the big mistake in this one. Really there was only one ball that had the defense that any shot at it was after a tip. So,
well, here's what I know: anytime you turn the ball over at quarterback, whether it be interceptions, fumbles, whatever it is, you're not going to win very many football games. And when you come out of it with no turnovers from your quarterback position, I consider that a successul night. Now, is he going to continue to grow and get more aggressive and assert himself? Yes, but I thought he was very poised. I thought he was prepared, and that's something that Braylon does every week. And I think the best is still to come. He's going to be a good player for us.
And we are joined tonight here at Pizza Ranch in Conway by Max Thurmond, the new defensive coordinator here at Central Arkansas. And Coach, good good to have you, and certainly looking forward to the rest of the season. I guess if you just gave me a quick overview, how'd you feel your guys performed at Tulsa in the opener?
I thought the most important thing is we came out of the game, we didn't want to have anybody that we saw that didn't give maximum effort. And watching the film, we didn't have any lows, which is one of the things that we really look for. I mean, we put it on the microscope. We try to find guys that are loafing, and we didn't find guys that were loafing during the game, so that was a huge plus for us. I think we got to go through and go back and be better at stopping the run, because the number one goal of defense, if you want to be a great defense, you have to stop the run. You have to make teams one-dimensional. And we allowed them at times to stay where they could run. We were in a run-pass conflict. And I think we have to go out, and we're talented enough to be dominant in the running game. And we got to go out and do it and execute and make tackles. Even when we get a little tired, we still have to run our feet on contact. And so I feel like that was the high was how we played and the effort that we played with. The low was just not finishing and how many rush yards we gave up on Saturday.
I know you're not here to make excuses, but there were a couple of guys that certainly figure prominently into the defense long term. And Javius Brown, a guy who's known as a run stopper. How much of a difference you feel like those guys will make going forward against teams that want to do this?
It's anytime you can add a guy like Javius and some of those key backup guys, when they go in, you take a guy playing 70 snaps, now his snaps goes down to 45 or 50 snaps. So now those 20 tired snaps he's playing, well, now you get a fresh body in there that can come in and give you 100%, where a guy's giving you 100% of 70%, if that makes sense.
Sure.
And so that's what I think a guy like a Javius, he brings to us and giving us some depth in there. Now you are 3 deep where you can rotate guys in and feel like, you can handle yourself up in the inside, because that's where the running game starts at.
Yeah.
With our nose and our tackle, and then you get the linebackers and our ends and, and our nickel and our safeties. And, it starts with those guys, and they have to be able now to make some tough plays in there.
So I don't know what's going to happen the rest of the season, obviously, over the next 10 regular season games, but that the fumble, the scoop, the fumble, the cover in the end zone, about as wild a play as we're probably going to see this year. From your perspective, what'd you call and what'd you see on that play?
We just had a pressure call. We were just trying to create some momentum, talking to the coaches from the box and on the field. We felt like, hey, let's try to create a momentum play. Sometimes it gets stagnant and it's just steady. So you try to create some momentum for the team and for the defense, and wanted to call something to create that momentum, and it worked out where, we had it schemed up all week, and we got a free hat on the quarterback. Ralph does a great job of sacking the quarterback, stripping the ball. Cardell comes by, does a great job scooping and scoring it. And, now we have to go back and make sure that he, sometimes as kids and they're growing up, they coming through, they don't believe it until they see it. And when you tell them, hey, you have to tuck the ball away every time because, hey, their offensive guys are taught to come strip it. And so, but great job by J. Mo of coming down there and falling on it in the end zone, recovering and getting 7 points. And, it's a huge play in the game.
Yeah. Well, it's fun when the defense scores, certainly. We saw a lot of that last year. We want to keep that going this year. But as far as your arrival here, just if you would, tell us a little bit about your trek to Central Arkansas and what attracted you here to become part of the Bear coaching staff.
Man, it's really weird. Coach Stewart was my first position coach in college in 1996, and when I went through college, he was my position coach, and we just became close. And then after he left and went with Coach Campbell to Delta State, came back, and I had my senior year, and when I finished, I became the GA, so I was in charge of making sure Jesse, Hannah, Kenzie, Holly, I was the babysitter when he and Andrew wanted to go out. So, I was in charge of making sure, hey, the kids are okay and safe, and he and Andrew could go have date night when, going through it. And so we just became close, and so when he got here, we were still taught, and so I came out. It's really weird. I came out a year ago, and came out and visited for 3 days, watching spring practice and just watching. And so that's how I got to, through Coach Stewart, know about the program and come visit. And it was a cool place. You just Conway. I'm a country guy. I don't do a lot, and so I like a small town, which Conway is a big town for me.
Okay.
So, but it was a good place, and talked to Coach Stewart about Coach Brown, and he had nothing but great things to say about Coach Brown, and what kind of man he was and what kind of ball coach he was, and that made it an easy fit for me. Now it was just me making sure that I fit what Coach Brown was looking for.
Right. Structurally, on defense, how much is it similar to what you learned and worked with Coach Stacks on over the years, and what do you do differently?
It's pretty much, we started doing this in 2003, and that's how, now we have evolved it some, but the base of what we do, we started in 2003 out of necessity because we got ready to start spring ball, and we realized we were a true 4-down front, and we realized we only had 3 interior defensive linemen. And it's going to be hard to go through spring ball with 3 interior defensive linemen.
Yeah.
Well, if you take one of those guys out, now you can add one to depth and you'll be okay.
Yeah. All right, I hear the music there. We're going to have to go. Maybe we can get you on again later in the year. But we do Coach Brown. We do 2-minute drill at the end of the show.
Okay.
Ask him a bunch of goofy questions. One of them today is, I'll give you a heads up on this one. You get a little heads up. Favorite football movie?
Remember the Titans.
Okay. All right. Good deal. I think Coach Brown may mention that one later, too. We'll see. All right, hey, Coach, thank you. Good luck this week against Murray State.
Appreciate it.
The Cummins kickoff. Ball is high and hanging. Will be bouncing at the 7. Bears are there to knock it down. Ball's on the ground. The Bears have it. Are you kidding me? The ball landed short. It was batted away by the Bears, who dove in there to knock it away, and then they covered it, and they've got the ball inside the Tulsa 10.
All right, welcome back. Pizza Ranch in Conway. We're going to talk to Ken Collums here in just a moment. And Coach Brown, before we do that, I wanted to mention, we talked about some of the weird plays. That was one of them. And you play a team where the nickname is Golden Hurricane. I guess you expect a windy condition. We saw before the game. It was wild all night with the wind, and it just held those balls up a couple of times. It unfortunately got the Bears, too, later on in the game. But it was great when you guys were able to get one. But that's a play we don't see very often, where a guy, I guess is anticipating the ball's going to continue to carry, and it just doesn't.
There was something weird going on in that end zone, because it was almost like deja vu when it happened to us. I mean, it either the ball got knocked down quick or whatever it was. But it was a testament to our kickoff coverage unit. They were running down hard with a lot of effort, and then to jump on the ball. I mean, Jackie Harville was right there to basically be there to be in the guy's grill, and then the ball kind of got knocked away. And DeAndre Lamont, another young defensive back for us, going to be a great player. He was right there to to jump on top of it. I mean, anytime you can get the ball around the 11, 12-yard line, as soon, right after you score a touchdown is huge, so big-time momentum shift there. Yeah,
and Jackie, obviously, we heard a lot about it last year. He started showing some flashes, and there's no telling what the ceiling is with this guy. He's got incredible speed, and everybody sort of talks about him in that sort of George Odom vein, that he's just a playmaker.
Yeah, and it's what I told Jackie, because he does hear that a lot, because he plays George's position. He's naturally kind of the same body type. But I told Jackie before the game on Saturday, be the best Jackie Harville you can be. And I thought he was that way. He did not. If there was one guy that probably left it on the field, it was Jackie. And, I mean, he was literally leaving it on the field. He would come to the side, and, I mean, he was having to, hold back some stuff coming from his mouth. I mean, he was just leaving it out there, and played extremely hard. He's got to continue to work himself into shape, because we don't want him to come off the field.
Right.
He's that good a football player.
Let's talk to Ken Collums now, the offensive coordinator here, the new old offensive coordinator who's in his 1st/8th year at UCA. So yes. Obviously, good to have you back, Coach. And a lot to deal with in an opener anytime. You're also breaking in a quarterback who at least has been in the system a little while, but had a lot to go through to prepare for this one. And we've talked a little bit about Braylon's performance, and I guess I wanted to get it from your take, how you felt like he performed in that environment in his first start.
Considering it was his first game, I thought he did really well. Protected the ball, and probably to the casual observer, you probably thought, God, this guy's lighting it up. But when you're in those meeting rooms and you know the game, you teach the game, you immerse yourself in the game as a quarterback, he left that game going, man, I could have done so much more. I could have played so much better. And when you watch him, and when you watch it with him and show it to him, he at times, he's not pleased, and some of the things he did, he's upset and embarrassed about, because we should in the first quarter we should have had 21 points,
right. And
all of that wasn't on him, but there were a few kind of rookie things that he did that kind of held us back. But what the great thing about Braylon is, he would look you in the eye and go, Coach, I understand, and I'll get it fixed. And he is a fierce competitor, a wonderful person. You can tell him something, and he'll listen, and he will go out and do it. So, I mean, as coaches, we're fired up.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, as a first start, no, it's not. It's not going to be anything what it will be. And that's pretty cool, because he looked pretty good.
Yeah.
And so, he's going to get better, and which is going to make our whole football team better.
Well, he's got a lot of great weapons around him, too, and you got that, the litany of great running backs behind him. And I know you guys were excited about the receivers, and there's some big shoes to fill in that role. and then the offensive line that's been rebuilt. Let's start there. The big guys up front. How'd you feel like the performance was there? I mean, they did a pretty good job protection-wise.
Yes, they did, and we kind of took care of them a little bit in the first half. Didn't drop back very much. We took one sack there in the red zone and had a holding penalty, but our kicker made a great kick, so that was crucial. But we opened it up a little bit more, in the second half. But they had their hands full now. That was a defensive front now. Those some big boys. Mm-hmm. You walk up next to them and you're going to have to play with low pad level. You're going to have to play with leverage, and you're going to have to give it everything you got with good technique. And that's the key to O-line play. It's not just, hey, let me try harder and let me be tough. I mean, there's an art to it, and you have to be technically sound against good people. And we got 4 guys that were making their first start. So. And that's pretty cool that we were in a position to win that game with some young guys up front. So that only tells you, man, this thing's going to get better and better.
How did you feel in back in the OC's chair versus having to be the head coach and having to worry about everything? Was it? I'm just curious too. And Coach Brown, obviously, you're on the other side of things where you're having to deal with everything as the CEO of the program. I was just curious about the transition and what it's like. Is it more fun in some ways?
In some ways, but as a play caller, any play caller, that shot clock is starting, and you better have the right personnel on the field. You better be in the right set, in the right situation, understanding their tendencies, having a good play, leaving enough time to be able to get out of that play and get into another play. And a couple of times I didn't do that, and it didn't, and that didn't help our offense. But it's just different. It's a new set of pressures. As a head coach, you're managing everything, and you're trying to take a big picture of it and make the best decisions for the entire team. Offensively, there in the second quarter, I'm simply trying to make a first down. And you mentioned the rushing yards we gave up. It would have really helped our entire defense if our offense could have got a couple of first downs. But Tulsa, we totally got them out of their what they started their defensive front in their defensive coverage. We got them out of it because we were moving the ball in the first quarter. And so it took me a little bit to figure out, hey, what are they even doing? They were playing a prevent type defense on first and second down. So, it's cool. I've got, and the thing is being a coordinator with good players, that's when it's pretty fun, and we've got good players, and we're only going to get better. We've got trust in our players, and if you want a dynamic offense, you have good players, but you're able to trust them and put them in situations where you can call a play from your -5 or the +5, and hey, let's call it. I believe in our people. Let's go.
I'm curious, since you got back to Conway, what percentage of questions have you gotten from folks locally here about the championship that you had back in the early 90s versus this current team?
Oh, it's probably not as much. I mean, it was cool. The national championship's cool, but Bear fans, man, they're in it right now, and they're in it for this season, and so I don't talk about it much.
I didn't figure you did. I just
people like you bring it up.
He talks
say
about
something
it more
about it.
Well, people bring it up to him a lot, I'm sure. I've seen people, every time I mention your name, they're like, he was a quarterback of the national championship team. I say, yes, I'm aware of that. But, hey, it's good to remember those things.
It is. And I'll tell you this, to be able to come back here and coach at a place that I love under a wonderful head coach that I help recruit and coach, and with a great coaching staff. We have this staff. Nathan Brown has put together a staff of legitimate, knowledgeable people in the game of football, but wonderful men who are in this to, hey, let's roll up our sleeves and let's fight if we got to. Let's get it on. But at the end of the day, we want to see our players grow into men, and he's put together a staff like that. And a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people, it's football only. But that's one of the reasons I came back here, is because I believe in Nathan Brown and who he is, and he's going to continue to grow as a head coach. He's going to be a great one.
As far as Murray State, real quick, if you can, just give us what your expectations are for what you're going to face there.
Well, we're going to move the ball. We're going to protect it and hopefully score more than they do, and we're going to do better than we did in game one. And we're gonna first downs were at times miserable in Tulsa. We got to take care of winning first down. We treat winning first down as 4 yards or more. That keeps you kind of in rhythm as an offense. And then we've got to execute against their blitz. They're going to bring different blitzes. But our guys, I mean, I look forward to watching our guys on Saturday. Not yet, because we got to put in a good week of work. But at the end of the week, man, I'll be ready to watch them and we'll be as balanced as we can. And Braylon will be sharp.
Good luck this week. Appreciate the time.
Yes, sir.
Coach Brown, obviously you guys have a long-standing relationship. It's a unique one. I know as a guy that you look to as a mentor. Although obviously you're the boss now. It's an intriguing situation, but obviously it's great to work with people that you trust.
Yes, I mean first thing you do whenever this is obviously my first opportunity to be a head coach, and first thing I wanted to do was surround myself with great people. I mean, if I can trust the people that are around me, and what they're about, what they stand for, then we can all trust each other and go win football games. And Coach Collums is a great example of that. I mean, he was a guy over the years, even though we were in separate places, him being at Abilene and me being here, I could think of numerous times I'd call him at like 11 or 12 o'clock at night, just something on my mind. He would always pick the phone up. It's really cool, dynamic relationship. He made an impact in my life early on in college. Being recruited by him and then playing for him for a short amount of time. Still give him a hard time about that leaving me. I mean, that wasn't real fired up about that.
Rough.
That was a rough deal. But it worked out, and it's crazy how things become full circle. And when I had the opportunity to get this job, he was the first call I made, and whenever it kind of transpired, I was just excited to have the opportunity to bring him back because he's a good football coach.
Coach, as far as the running backs go, as long as we still got you here for another minute or so, you got a lot of talent to work with there. We saw everybody do something good in the game. Cedric did some good things in the run game, averaged over 5 yards a carry. Also had a great kick return, as we mentioned, that set you up for the first score. We know what Carlos did, and then it was a little bit tougher for Kiki through the game, but he did have the touchdown run, and also on the shovel pass, turned that upfield and nearly broke it for a touchdown as well. Yeah,
I mean we've got the luxury of having three guys that can do it, and we trust all three of them. They all bring different tools to the table, and we're going to use those tools. We'll have them out there at the same time this week. We'll just continue to build things around them. If a smart coordinator is going to get the ball to his horses, and we've got some, and we got to get it to them. So, but they all, when you have playmakers in the same room, they all want the ball. That's just because that's what they've done, and they deserve the ball because they're good players and good teammates. But we don't have issues, and there could be, in a lot of atmospheres, there could be some issues if we weren't teaching them, that being a man is giving too. Being a teammate, is encouraging each other, and they're learning. Every one of them's growing and learning, and because of that, they're going to continue to grow as players, and it's going to make us a better team. But I like watching those guys now. They can do it. We just got to keep protecting the ball and keep giving it to them in good situations.
Yeah, I don't know. And you guys have been around a lot more rooms than I have, but I'm just curious about running backs. Seem to be sort of a different breed in that there's competition. Everybody wants their carries, but at the same time, those guys, it seems like they pull for each other. We had a couple of them on together last year. It just seems like there's a little more of that sort of encouraging one another, supporting one another. That there's not a lot of jealousy in that room typically.
It's really a weird position because deep down, they want the football, and at times that they'll tell you they want the football. But the second that their teammate crosses that goal line, especially for those three guys, and even the guys behind them, we got some great running backs behind them. They're the first guys down there celebrating. As a matter of fact, at times you got to hold them back on the sideline so we don't get a penalty. So just super teammates with each other. I think as natural competitors, and that's what you want. You want players that want the football, and that's how you've got to be. Taylor Reed does a phenomenal job with those guys. I mean, he's got a good rotation. He's got a good relationship with them. He manages them well. We trust Taylor and when he puts those guys in, and Coach Collums is going to scheme up to when we want Cedric in or Kiki in or all three of them in. You never know. Mm-hmm. So we're just trying to get our playmakers the ball, and I think they'll support each other, through thick and thin.
We talked last week on the show. For you, a little different perspective. You were down on the field. Did you feel like you were missing anything, or what were maybe some of the advantages of being down there versus in the booth?
It was fun. It was fun for me. Now, I will tell you, it's a lot faster pace. The game is, Coach Thurmond probably didn't enjoy me flipping my headset over to defense very much because that's the first time I've ever done that, really. So I tried to be quiet when they were over there and let them work because that's what they're there to do. But just thinking ahead. I mean, but Coach Collums has been a head coach. I've reflected ideas off him. Coach Thurmond has been around the game for a long time. We had a meeting talking about what our philosophy was going to be going into the game at Tulsa. We'll have the same meeting this week about Murray. What's our philosophy going to be? Do we want to go for it when we're on the plus 50? Do you feel comfortable for it? I looked at Coach Thurmond, just sixth sense. Me and him kind of looked at each other on that 1 4th down conversion we took on the 14-play drive there in the third quarter, and he just gave me the head nod, like, go ahead and go, baby. So that's what we did, and it's a team effort. It's not just me. I'm constantly talking. I mean, I bet I asked Coach Collums 10 times, what are you thinking right here? What are you thinking right here? So it's an experience for me, but it was fun. I couldn't take it back. I feel like I got a passion for players. I can read players' eyes. That's one of my giftings, and to get the opportunity to finally, put that to work and see those guys in action is a lot of fun.
All right, Skipper back to work. Has his running back under pressure, and he eats it. Ball's out. The ball is out, Scoop, and it's Cardell Best. Look out behind you. He fumbles it into the end zone, and the Bears cover it. Touchdown, Central Arkansas. Touchdown, Central Arkansas. It is Justin Morris. Oh, my goodness, what a crazy play.
All right, welcome back. That was terrible. Terrible call. You know what? Sometimes the broadcasters need a few games to get under their belts so we know we're doing
that call might deserve an ESPY or something.
Coach, I went fanboy there. That was terrible. I'm like, oh, Cardell, look out! Like he could hear me from the booth. I was freaking out. I'm like, oh, my God, he's going to get Leon Ladden. Oh, thank God they covered it. That was a crazy play, but it was just one of those days. I mean, there was defense making plays. It was fun to see. It was nice to see him get after guys. But, with this defense, I feel bad for opposing quarterbacks a lot of times. I didn't on Saturday, but more than their share of opposing quarterbacks legally have been knocked out. I don't know if it was just they didn't want any more or they were actually injured, but you guys have a tendency to get after people for sure.
If we can get teams to third down, we feel like we've got the pass rushing ability to put people in bad spots. I mean, when you've got Chris Terrell, Eric Jackson, Nathan Grant, and then you add a Cardell Best back to the mix, we've got a chance to be special. And Justin Morris had a good night the other night, spelling Nathan Grant at times. It's a good group up there. We've got a group that gets after it. Marceth Andry, Austin Norris, both of those guys played a lot of snaps, played good football. So it's just like on offense. You're going to see as good as our defense I thought played. Especially making Tulsa take the long haul the whole night. You're going to see the same improvement on defense as you will on offense. Week 1 to week 2 is always some of your biggest improvement as a football team.
All right, real quick, Coach, we want to welcome in Wade, who's with Andy's frozen custard, just down the road here. And obviously we love being at the Pizza Ranch each week for the Nathan Brown Show. But you guys recently did a contest. It's all settled out. So folks that want to, tip their cap, support UCA, you guys have a special treat?
Yeah, so we customize our own treat. People got to pick out the ingredients for it. People from UCA got to vote, which one is it going to be? What's the name going to be? So the name we've decided on the Bear Tracks is going to be the name of the official jackhammer. What's going to be in it? It's going to have cookie dough, brownie. We're going to drill a big hole in the center, fill it with caramel. I think it tastes super good. We're dedicating it to UCA. So anytime, a UCA student feels, they feel special, having their own thing at a restaurant. We wanted to support, the local colleges that we're right next to. So that's what we've done to kind of be our part in a college culture.
Gotcha. So you had a lot of votes on this?
We did.
People weighing in?
Yeah, absolutely. We had a bunch of people weigh in. It was actually a really close vote. I can't tell you the exact numbers, but it can have been like a few hundred off of each one.
What was the runner-up?
Runner-up was Bear Tracks number 2, so it was going to be Oreos and marshmallows with a hot fudge center instead.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so kind of like double stuffed Oreos.
I'd take either one.
Yeah, me too. I've tried them both about 5 times now. So.
Okay, you guys open all week long?
We are. We are open every single day. Our winter hours are coming up, so we close at 11 on weekdays, 11:30 on the weekends, so Friday, Saturday.
Most importantly, after a home game, how late are you open? That's the question.
Oh, man. We'll stay open late if we're busy enough at around 11:30, but, if there's not enough business at that time, we'll probably still close.
I just want to make sure we have ample time to get over there after we call a win this Saturday.
Okay. You definitely will.
That's good. All right, Wade, keep up the good work, man. Appreciate the time.
Absolutely.
All right, well, there you go. Get over and check out the Bear Tracks and at Andy's Frozen Custard. Coach, I don't know how often the kids get you to head over there, but I'm sure occasionally you get that asked.
I think my actual biological kids go eat Andy's a lot. So Riley and Luke, they'll hit Andy's up a lot, so they enjoy that.
Yeah, I wasn't even talking about the players. I didn't think about that. They could probably do some damage over at Andy's.
Oh man, you wouldn't want to see our team roll up there. We would, we've got some big boys we've got to feed.
We talked about offense. We talked about defense. We really didn't get into special teams much other than Cedric Battle's big return. And I did want to mention, like Matt Cummins, you know what you're going to get with him, which is great. And I know you feel good about the future with Hayden Ray as well. But smashing kicks into the end zone and a couple of great field goal, knockdown. Again, it's snapper, it's holder. There's a whole group there.
Well, I thought it was a great special teams night as a whole. One, Matt Cummins, kind of led the charge. Great job on kickoff. Anytime you've got a guy that can put the ball in the end zone, and start on the 25. The defense, you're not giving them a big play because momentums of football games are usually won on special teams. So Matt did a great job. He knocked down both field goals, hit every extra point. I thought our blocking was good on the field goals. They were big. They like to come at you. That was something we actually had to spend time and scheme up on. And I thought they did a great job. To me, the guy that had a great night other than really one punt was Taylor Wallace.
Yep.
He pinned him inside the 10 twice. He was an All-American punter at Jones Junior College. So we know what he can do. He proves it every day. He's got a phenomenal leg on him. I thought Reeve Wood gave great snaps to him. Great operation time, and then our coverage unit was really good. So, our kicking game was really solid. Very pleased with that, and then our coverage units they held up as well. Other than the late blunder by Cedric and that weird end zone for the night.
Yeah.
And that's the deal too. I talked to Cedric about it. I said, look, man, I don't want you to even think about that again. I want you to just move on. And even on Sunday, watching the film, watch it once, correct it, and let's go. Because he's a kid that can be very dynamic for us back there, as he proved early in the game. So I'm excited to see us continue to grow on special teams. And Coach Ryan Howard's done a great job on special teams, scheming up the scheme on each unit and getting them ready to play.
Part of it is the recruiting, but it is amazing. And we talk about it all the time when we're traveling to the games. This is a program that every year has good quarterback play.
Yep.
Obviously recruiting's a part of that. But the punting is something we sort of take for granted, too. It's like, we never heard of this kid before he comes in. He averages almost 40 a punt, and he can get it inside the 10 anytime you need him to. You guys are so consistent with that. I don't know how you do it, but I marvel at it. It happens every year.
Well, it helps having good connections in the junior college systems, because that's kind of the route we've gone lately, is going to a mid-year punter. You had Ponder, now you have Taylor Wallace. I mean, both came from the same junior college, so we knew what we got out of Patrick Ponder the last couple of years. Had the same head coach at Jones. He said, this guy's very comparable to Patrick. We went and we got him up for a visit and got Taylor on board. Great family, good comes from a great home life. But a phenomenal kicker, and he's a guy that can be a weapon for us. I hope I don't see him very much. That I told her, he's a pretty funny kid. And as he was walking out there before the game, he kind of had his game face on. I said, "Why you got your game face on? I don't want to see you out there." So he understands it, but when he gets out there, I think he's going to make the most of it. He's good. He's a really good punter.
Coach, we got 2-minute drill coming up, but I want to talk obviously about Murray State. This is a team that you went over there and handled them last year. They kind of struggled last year, and then their opener, Southern Illinois, came in and ran up 455 yards on them, 300 on the ground. So I know you guys want to get your ground game going this week, and different kind of matchup, obviously, week to week, but I'm sure you're looking forward to getting things going on the offensive side of things against Murray State as they come in here this weekend.
Yeah, we've watched them all day. I think they're a good program. They had a tough loss Thursday night of last week against Southern Illinois. But that doesn't mean that they don't have good football players. They've got a lot of talent on both sides of the football. I mean, their offense can run the score up. I mean, they're part of that Chris Hatcher offense, lineage, the air raid. So they can get the ball out fast, play with tempo, get their ball to the playmakers, and tend to do a good job of that. On defense, they've got a new defensive coordinator this year who was on staff, got promoted within. So he does a lot of similar things that they've done in the past as far as last year and the year before. But really the other night was his first time calling the defense for Murray State. So I'll be interested to see what they come out and do. I think their back's against the wall, and when you play a team with their back against the wall, then usually they're going to come out fighting. So we've got to be ready and prepared. And one big thing I talked to our guys about is you can't let a loss like this, a tough loss, maybe one you felt like you had a chance to win against Tulsa, beat you 2 weeks in a row.
Right.
So that's something we're guarding against this week.
And this is a team that'll get after you. 10 tackles for loss in the loss last week to Southern Illinois. So, yeah, you cannot definitely sleep on that. It'll be a a tough challenge at home this week. 6 o'clock kick, 5 o'clock pregame on the UCA Radio Network. Hope folks will get a chance to tune in this week. All right, quick 2-minute drill, and then I got a couple other things real quick for you before we get out of here. We mentioned football movies earlier. I forgot to ask Coach Collums, but your favorite football movie, I actually saw this in a feature in a magazine today.
Yeah.
That you had done.
This is an easy question. I obviously remember the Titans as a classic, but I'm a big fan of Draft Day. I think just the maybe the scheme behind Draft Day and what NFL organizations do to get their picks.
We should mention, too, by the way, not one but two.
Big day for UCA on Saturday.
Yeah, two Bears make active rosters, Trey Smith and George Odom, and they were both at the game the other day, which was
really
awesome.
Cool.
That was really great.
I mean, supporting their teammates, really neat deal.
Yeah. Hey, this just in. There's more than one way to get to the NFL, folks, and you can go to Conway and play for Central Arkansas and get there as well.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And if you look at, and I know this isn't part of the 2-minute drill, but if you look at since 2010, UCA is, I think, a second at the FCS level in draft picks, and then people getting undrafted free agent opportunities.
Yeah, I like the fact that you brought up draft day. That was great. It was a great time there. Any coach you can sit down with nationally, NFL, college, anybody, and pick their brain. Who you want?
Bill Belichick.
Okay, good move. Gum or mints?
Gum.
What do you chew?
Ooh, something spearmint.
Okay, I'm with you on that one. What house is your wife in here? What household chore do you hate the most?
Well, I do most of them. So.
Oh, really? Okay.
I would.
It doesn't look like she's arguing that.
I would probably say just the most annoying is laundry in the dryer. I hate like if I have to pull it out and fold. That's not my thing. I'm not a huge fan of that.
What if even if you put it in there? You just want to dry it?
I just want to dry it and leave it in there for 2 days, and maybe it'll get out.
You guys have got some combos we've seen over the last few years. I think going back to your days, I remember when you guys would come out with the black uniforms, and Coach Conk used to tell me how much negative feedback you get from some old schoolers. What's your favorite combo?
Oh, wow. Well, I'll tell you what, Nike has done, BSN Sports, Nike has done a great job fitting us this year with our Nike combinations. I think we look great in anything we wear. But I think we've got something special this weekend we'll keep that under wraps. But it's gonna be a fun weekend. It'll be a new look Bears, and we're excited about it.
Okay, I like that. All right, again, game this weekend, 6 o'clock on the Stripes. And Coach, I got to say too, we talked about two very special VIP Bears in attendance, but what a great turnout from Central Arkansas at the game in Tulsa this weekend.
Well, and I'll tell you, Coach Montgomery actually told me that after the game. Said, "Man, y'all travel as well as any team since I've been coaching here. I think this is his 4th year at Tulsa. So, just hats off to the UCA band, to the Bears Den students. Brought a couple buses over. President Davis was in attendance along with all his staff, Dr. Teague and his staff, and then just the fans and parents and just if you looked on that sideline of our side, it wasn't just that one section. It was spread out all across in purple. And if we can have half that effort this Saturday, we need you. We need you on the Stripes in Estes Stadium at 6 o'clock. Tailgating on Bruce Street. We'll have the Bear Walk a couple hours before, and you get a chance to see our guys. And it's just going to be a fun night. It's going to be a fun night, and we look forward to opening at home. And we know how we play on the Stripes, and that's usually pretty good.
Coach, good luck this week.
Thank you so much.
Thanks to everybody here at the Pizza Ranch, and thanks to Roger Baker back in the studio. We appreciate you. We'll join you next Monday to recap, hopefully, win number 1 for Central Arkansas. We're here on the Nathan Brown Show. Good night, everybody.